I look at Dolph and he's just been so consistently good for so long. But if I was going to wrestle against somebody, a male, it would be Dolph. Like, I think he's so well-rounded. I think he's like the Mr. Perfect of today's generation.
I want to go just backtrack with strengths and weaknesses here. We didn't, the new world champion, Rhea Ripley. So, she's very young. She's pretty new in the business, and look where she's gone.
Yeah. And I mean, when I look at Rhea, I'm like, the only thing that Rhea really has left to do in WWE is, I know she wants to wrestle the men. I know she really, really wants to wrestle the men. I actually love wrestling men too. It's funny because Rhea's talked a lot about wrestling men, but when I was training in the dungeon, I didn't have really any other girls to train with. There was only like one other woman that would come in occasionally. And I would always just wrestle men. So I learned how to wrestle with my cousins, and Jack Evans actually was one of my first coaches, along with my husband TJ, where Jack Evans was trying to teach me how to do like Dragon Ranas. And I love wrestling men because you can hit them a little harder. You can.
So who's the guy? Who's the guy in WWE that if they said, okay, we're opening this up, you got a choice, what man do you want to wrestle? Who is it and what's going to happen?
Dolph Ziggler. I think Dolph is so versatile. He's so good. He's somebody that literally, people have said Dolph Ziggler is the Cal Ripken of the men of WWE, and Natty, you're the Cal Ripken of the women in WWE. But I look at Dolph and he's just been so consistently good for so long. But if I was going to wrestle against somebody, a male, it would be Dolph. Like, I think he's so well-rounded. I think he's like the Mr. Perfect of today's generation. So Dolph would be one of the people that I'd love to wrestle. I'd love to wrestle against Gable. I think Gable is wildly talented. Another person that I think the Usos are incredible. I watched them on the live events. If I could wrestle against the Usos, they just have this magic about them in the ring. And it's not just about the moves. It's about the way they tell stories with their eyes. So yeah, the Usos, Dolph Ziggler, Gable, those would be guys that I would love to wrestle in the company. But I think when I look at Rhea, I think she's a generational talent. So she's somebody that's super special. She's done almost everything that you can do in WWE besides main event WrestleMania. She is such a special talent. And that's why when I was first starting this rivalry against her, I was like, this is exciting. You got the Boat versus the Nightmare. Rhea Ripley, she calls herself a nightmare. I think she is in the ring for sure. She's a threat. She's a force to be reckoned with. When you're in the ring with her, you know it's going to be hard hitting. You know it's going to be tough. You know she's going to take you to your limits. And I have very magical chemistry with Rhea. We had a match last weekend in Westchester County at a very historical
White Plains County Center, right?
Yeah, it was such a it's one of my favorite places to wrestle in New York besides Madison Square Garden. That building is so special. And so I had this match against Rhea, and it just reignited my love for this because I was like, wow, Rhea is so good at what she does. And we just complemented each other. We just had this magical chemistry that I thought was just so special. So being in the ring with her, she's unbelievably good. I think when I look at her weaknesses, it's hard because I don't think she has a lot of weaknesses. I think that she wants what I want, which is a story for our rivalry in WWE. And I think that we'll definitely get there. I think that she's a little torn right now between being in this world of hey, I'm interacting with these top guys, but I'm also the women's champion. Yeah. And so the last woman to kind of do that in our industry was Chyna. So Chyna was sort of in that same realm of okay, I'm doing stuff with the guys, but I'm also able to still do stuff with the girls.
It's Wonder Woman complex.
Yes, yeah. So it's like when I think about oh my gosh, how am I going to be a threat to Rhea Ripley when Rhea Ripley's a threat to Solo Sikoa? Or when Rhea Ripley, when Seth Rollins is saying, I want to wrestle Rhea Ripley. But I also think that she's in a very unique position. I think it's exciting that she can do both. I would love to, if I could wrestle men too, I would love to do both because men are such a great base. So I could do a lot of high flying stuff on them. But then I saw what Rhea Ripley did with Zelina Vega in Puerto Rico. Zelina Vega came out looking like a bigger star than ever before. And I think that's a testament to the work that she and Rhea did together, and it takes two to be able to do that. So I looked at that and I was like, wow, I think that was really cool that Rhea helped give Zelina that moment, because Zelina was just dying to break out and shine. But yeah, I think I would like Rhea to, I know she's obsessed with Dom, and she thinks that Dom is obsessed with her and she's obsessed with Dom. I know they have a very special friendship, and I think that's amazing. The poppy mommy connection, as I call it. But I also want Rhea to remember that, she, as much as she wants to wrestle the men, she's got Natalya right here waiting for her, and she might not have much respect for me, or she might not see me as much of a threat after Night of Champions. But I really would still love to be able to show what I could do with her in the ring, and to be able to reignite our feud and to tell a great story and to make magic in the same way that Bret Hart did versus Davey Boy Smith at Wembley Stadium, or Bret Hart versus Mr. Perfect, or, some of these great rivalries that I think of. You think about, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker, for example, or Mick Foley versus Triple H and their rivalries. And I think Rhea and I could have that kind of iconic rivalry. So that is what I want. That is what I'm longing for. And I hope she's longing for it too.
I think one of the marketing ideas would have been, at least for me, to call her, of course, Mommy, and he should be Dommy. Be great on a T-shirt, Mommy and Dommy. So let's go into the wrestling realm here. And if Rhea is watching this, what do you want to say to her?
I think she knows that Night of Champions, she knows that it deeply affected me. She was there with me that night. She knew how upset I was. She knows how I was profoundly affected by it.
Yeah.
And I need her help to help me right this wrong. I need her help to help me tell this story. I need her help to believe. I need her to respect me. And I don't feel like she does. I don't think that she thinks that I can go 10 seconds with her. And I'm out to prove that, I know that I wasn't the performer that I could be at Night of Champions. I know that I let myself down more than I let anybody else down. But I also need Rhea to respect me, because I respect Rhea.
Yeah.
I respected her from the minute that I got drafted to Raw. I respected her from the minute that I watched her perform at NXT, from the minute that she made her main roster debut. Even though it was during a global pandemic, I always had this deep, deep, deep respect for her, and I'd like for her to have the same for me. And I don't know if she does, and I don't know what it's going to take to earn that from her. I really don't. I don't know if she'll ever respect me, but all I know is that when you reach an all-time low, which is what I feel like happened to me at Night of Champions,
right.
I feel like there's only one place to go from there, and that's up.
I think what I was asking, because we did discuss that earlier, that if she's watching this, if you could cut a promo saying to her, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, well, no, I would like Rhea to respect me.
Yeah.
And if I was speaking to Rhea, which I'm speaking to you right now, but
yes.
If I was to have a conversation with Rhea, it's that, I know that I'm not at her level right now. I know that she has all of the momentum. Rhea, you have all the momentum. You have all of the momentum in the world. And right now it's your time to shine, and you deserve that platform. You deserve all of this time to shine. But as much as I respect you, I'm just asking for a fraction of that back. And I don't know what it's going to take to get that respect from you, but if I'm given the opportunity, I know that I can earn it. So I would love to have that opportunity against her in the ring again, because I just feel like the respect is missing. And I feel like it's a one-way street, and relationships aren't 50-50, they're 100-100.
SummerSlam, maybe?
I would love to face off against her at SummerSlam. That would be incredible. I mean, wherever it is, there's no place in WWE to me that's off limits. We have this massive we're a global juggernaut. So anything that we do, if we filmed a match in the studio and put it out on Twitter, we go viral with everything. I'm asking for Rhea to show me the same respect that I've shown her, and I haven't gotten that from her yet. And I'm not going to rest easy until I get that from her, because Rhea looks at me like I couldn't go 10 seconds with her.
Yeah.
And she's not wrong. She's not wrong, because at Night of Champions, I took my eye off the prize and I was unfocused. And I'm not even going to blame Dom for what happened at Night of Champions, but I would like the same respect that I've given to her to be reciprocated back to me.
Okay.